Welcome to day 5, the fifth and final practice. I hope you've enjoyed the ones previously. This one's a little bit more active. So this one is a mindful stretching exercise today. So really connecting the mind and the body together through movement. Most of our movements in our lives we do on autopilot. There's very little time that we're fully paying attention to what we're actually doing, to what every component part of our body is doing. The only times that people will often do that is if they're involved in extreme sports, such as climbing mountains, abseiling, anything where it's potentially life-threatening. Then people are really focusing their attention on the movement, and the mind is absorbed in what is happening right then. Most of our other stuff in everyday life, whether we're doing routine activities like washing, cleaning, anything that we're doing in our day-to-day lives, walking, moving from place to place, our mind is focused elsewhere. We're never in the present moment. We always seem to be projected to the next thing, and then when we arrive there, we're projected to the next thing and never really in the moment. So mindful stretching, which is a yoga-based technique, is basically aligning again the mind and the body together in one place and focusing all your attention on the actual movement itself, feeling the edges of the movements and the stretches. So again, the screen's going to go blank, and then you're just going to listen to a set of simple instructions. Again, just a short meditation, a short practice, just some stretches to zone your mind and your body into the one place. Remember, your mind, your body, same place, same time, same focus. I hope you enjoy it.
Welcome to the stretching meditation practice. This is ideally carried out on a mat or on a thick rug on the floor, again in a place where you're unlikely to be interrupted for the next 10 minutes. Let down on the floor, on your back. Arms and hands down by your sides, and feet falling naturally away from each other. Being aware of the weight of the body as it sinks into the surface. If you're unable to carry out any of these stretches for any reason, rather than giving up, just be aware and think about doing the stretches. So carry out the stretches in your mind and don't carry them out physically. Similarly, if you have to do them from a seated position, just do them to the limitation. So relaxing into the floor, being aware of the breath, establishing the balance between the mind and the body. And starting with our first stretch. So lifting up the arms so they point above the head towards the ceiling, and then letting them go right the way over the top behind the head until the hands and feet are pointing at opposite walls. And then stretch out, pointing the toes, stretching with the hands, a full body stretch. Don't overstretch. This is just to the point of an edge. You'll feel the edge, just hold it there. Make sure you're breathing. Continue to breathe throughout. And hold that stretch just to the edge. Toes pointed, fingers reaching, eyes closed, just paying attention to the feelings and sensations in the body of the stretch, being aware of the stretch itself. And now relaxing the stretch and bringing the arms slowly back up until they're pointing at the ceiling. And then allowing them very slowly, like they're being lowered by a crane, to come to rest beside the body. Feet relaxed. and paying attention to the after effects of that stretch in the body. Feeling any tingling, any sensations, just being aware of how the body feels after doing that activity. And now bringing the knees up, so tensing the stomach muscles ever so slightly, drawing the knees up until you're in an inverted V shape with your feet firmly on the floor, your hips and backside on the floor, and your knees up in a V shape. Feet and knees together. And then reaching forward with your arms, bringing the knees up towards the chest, and then wrapping your arms just below the knees around the shin area as you pull the knees in towards the body. Again, at this moment, the shoulders and the head are back on the mat. The knees are being clasped towards the chest. Hands can be interlocked if you wish. Don't forget to breathe. And feel the change in the breathing when the lungs are constricted by this activity. And now, if you're flexible enough, bringing your head and shoulders up off the mat and bringing your head towards the knees, just to accentuate the stretch ever so slightly. Again, remembering to breathe throughout, and all your attention on the feelings and sensations in the body. And now lowering the head and shoulders back to the mat. Letting go of the knees with the arms, still keeping them in the inverted, dropping them down into the inverted V position, and letting the arms go down by the sides. And then gently leaning the knees over to the left and to the right in a slight rocking motion, just to relieve any tension in the lower back. And again, remembering to breathe throughout. And now straightening out the legs, arms down by the sides, and focusing your attention on the body and its feelings in the after effects of that stretch. And now coming over onto the hands and the knees, so up in a tabletop type position, so hands directly underneath the shoulders and knees underneath the hips, so a nice stable platform. And then we're going to do something called the cat stretch, so imagining a cat when it's startled or surprised, like a Halloween cat, where it arches its back. So you need to arch your back up and bring your head down between your shoulders and just stretch the back up as high as it goes. Again, remembering to breathe and don't overdo the stretch. Do that on an in-breath, and on the out-breath let the belly drop down and the back relax and come through, and let the belly come down towards the floor. Again, don't over push this stretch, just so it's comfortable, but all your attention focused on breathing and all the feelings and sensations. And then back up into the tabletop position, so a nice flat back. And now stretching out the left hand in front of you, pointing towards the wall. And then stretching out the right leg, so opposite arm, opposite leg. Trying to balance on one hand and one knee, whilst the other arm and leg are outstretched, pointing towards opposite walls. Feel the body as it tries to establish a base and balance. The more you stretch on this, the more stable the platform will be. But again, don't overdo the stretch, and remember to breathe. And now put the arms and hand back down, and do the same stretch with the other arm and leg, the opposite hand and leg, pointing towards the opposite walls, and again trying to retain that balance. being aware of the feeling sensations of the body as it tries to balance. And then bringing that hand and knee back down to the ground so that you're back in the tabletop position. And again, the cat stretch, raising the back up, head down between the shoulders. And then on the out breath, allowing the belly to drop down and bringing the head up as you stretch in the opposite direction. And now adopting the lying down position that you started with. Your shoulders back firmly on the mat. Arms and hands down by your sides. Feet gently falling away from one another. And I bring the knees up again. And bring the arms to meet them and hug the knees into the chest. And then just rock gently from left to right whilst holding the knees, keeping your head and shoulders back on the mat, just to relieve any tension in the lower back. Again, remembering to breathe. And focusing your attention on any sensations or feelings inside the body. And now releasing the legs, allowing the legs to go back to their original position where we started, falling gently away from each other. Arms rested down by the side of the body. And now tune in to the physical feelings in the body at the end of that exercise. Focusing on the steady breath. Any tingling sensations, and being aware of how quiet the mind was during that activity, where it was focused on just carrying out the stretches. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and slowly bring that feeling of inhabiting the body back into the room as you carry on with your day's activities.
So that's the end of the 5 days of practice. I hope you've enjoyed your 5 days, if you've stuck with it through all 5. Hopefully there was one in there that sticks with you. Not everybody responds to all 5, so find the one that works for you, and if necessary, continue to use it. I'm going to leave all of the techniques and the videos up on the YouTube channel, so you can revisit them whenever you want, and also share them with anybody that you deem it necessary to share them with. Thanks ever so much for your attention, and I hope this was of use and benefit to you. Take care.